Hello. Today's special guest is Johnny Ballard. He is a colorist, hairstylist, salon owner, father. He wears many hats, and I am blessed to now call him friend. We met several years ago when he became a member of my Hair Color Secrets Insider group. And I asked him to chat with me today to share his experience going from stranger finding me, I don't even know where, we'll talk about that here, to now us working side by side, both in his salon and in my course material, as well as my live events. So I am so thrilled to introduce you to the one and only Johnny Ballard. Thank you for being
Thank
here,
you. Thank
Johnny.
you.
Thanks for being spontaneous as always. Johnny is used to me throwing things at him like spaghetti on a wall and saying, let's just do it right now and not think about it. So I don't think you're at all surprised that I asked you
No,
to
not
come
at
on
all.
here 5 minutes ago.
No.
So, how did you first find me? I can't even remember.
Sylvia, I was
And Sylvie,
actually camping for Thanksgiving when the first boot camp happened. Me and Sylvia had been texting, and she goes, I found this lady, and we need to go through this boot camp and see what we think. And so we did, and we tore it apart.
that's
It was
awesome.
like, do we like this? Do we not like that? We always are looking for the negative. What don't we like? And there was
I
more
love it.
positive than what we didn't like. And so we were like, we're going to do it. Let's do it. And I don't regret it. And I've appreciated it ever since.
So, was that like 2020 maybe? I'm trying to remember when we got together.
Um, it must have been
It could have been
2020.
the end of 2019 or early 2020 because I started doing this. I moved to Florida just to give everyone a backstory. I moved to Florida in 2019. I spent the first 3 months attempting to do a suite to be able to film content, but also to do hair because it was my fear kicking in of how am I going to, support myself with this brand new digital business. So I know I got started before the pandemic, and I think the pandemic started like March of 2020. So it might have
It
been the end of
was
2019.
shortly after you brought the girls from PA down to train them. And you were down in Sarasota renting a suite.
Okay.
So whatever year that was, we met right after because I asked you, do you have a space? Do you need a space? Would you
Well,
like to use a
that's
space?
also what I wanted to share is that when I moved here, I had a really difficult time meeting people because it's not like grade school or high school where you walk up to someone and say, want to play at recess? Want to be my friend? I was a 51-year-old woman living in a brand new city with zero connections. And Sylvia and you were both members in the group, but the membership was like a list of names on a page in a virtual
Right.
setting. I didn't get to meet anyone yet through that. And I'll never forget, Sylvia reached out and said, hey, I'm having something at my house. You're only like 45 minutes from me. I had no idea she or you lived in Florida. And she's like, we're going to talk about hair color. I was like, count me in. I'm there. And it's the best decision I've ever made. You both made me feel so welcome and comfortable. And you were like, why are you running that suite? Come do hair at my salon. I'll be able to get a front row seat to the education, which is
Right, right.
amazing. I love
But
that.
that's kind of the thing with the insiders that I really like is that you do being in the salon, I'm here by myself. And I don't have coworkers, so that's one thing about this that I really enjoy is that there is no negativity. You can bounce things off of each other without somebody looking at you like you don't know the answer to that. Why not?
Mm,
So that's what I
that's
really
awesome feedback.
appreciate with this group is that it is very friendly and it is a coworker saying, "Here, let's lift you up and let's get you through this."
Yes. So we just finished another in-person event, which I was so thrilled that you were able to make it to, at least part of. And you see that, we all walked into the room on Monday morning, most of us as complete strangers, other than, you and I knowing each other and a couple other people, but out of, the group of almost 30 people, most people did not know one another. And after the first activity, doing the fun activity of what do you have in common,
Right.
realizing that the people that won had 78 things in common. And that was only in 8 minutes. If we had gone longer, imagine how many other commonalities there would have been had
But
they,
you do,
dug in deeper.
you go in as strangers and leave as friends. And these are
Yes.
lifelong friends that you're going to keep in touch with just because of the group. You're going to text back and forth and say, hey, what do you think about this? Or, hey, and that's done on the side.
Yes, I love that. And I love that there's an extensive library, as you know, and you and I would always joke, you're like, oh my gosh, I need to I need to dig in on that library. And you're going on your third year as an insider, and you're still feeling like there's more that you haven't got to. But
Right.
I do see that you show up for coaching calls. If you can't make it live, you watch the replay because you and I
Right.
will chat about it. And that's what it's about. It's about getting the transformation. So many people get excited, as with anything else. It's a brand new thing and they're so excited to be part of it, and they'll show up in the first week and then forget that they're even in the membership. So I've watched your transformation. I've watched several other members' transformations that I can see the difference in the confidence, the difference in the type of questions. You've seen, talk about front row seat, you've seen me jack up some hair trying something new, right? That
Oh,
was
that we
like,
spent a whole day.
we spent a whole day, and Sylvia was there too. And, I had talked to you about it and I was like, oh my God, this is so embarrassing. Like I'm the head of this education and you're supposed to be learning from me. And I just totally screwed that head up. And I was like, you know what? I'm sharing it. I'm sharing it with the group. And you're like, are you crazy? And I'm like, no, because I'm human. And I think people hearing
Right.
that I make a mistake after 36 years doing something new, why would they feel afraid to try something new when they see that it's okay? I went back and fixed it. I know enough to be able to fix it, but I'm still disappointed when I don't get it right the
Right.
first time out of the gate.
But it does help us to see the mistakes. And I think what helped me too is with this group, but even back when I was in school, is we used to screw people up on purpose
On purpose.
so that we had to learn how to fix it. So being able to see you doing it 35 years and oops, I made a mistake. It's like, okay, we're all human. We're gonna make mistakes and you know how to get in there and fix it. And I think that's a lot about the group and a lot of the classes is you can learn how to fix stuff. It's hair color, it's fixable. Long as you don't burn it off the head, you can fix it. Long as you go through these classes and you're learning the fundamentals and the basics again, you will know how to fix it.
Yeah. And it's not having that moment of absolute panic. How many times have we all had a night of no sleep because we didn't get the result that we wanted on our client, and the client is fine. That the person that I screw up is my friend Dana. She was totally fine. She was going on a cruise and was totally fine going on the cruise. And I was like, girl, you are not stepping foot on that boat with that hair. You are coming back and getting that fixed. So I think we are so much harder on ourselves than our actual clients are, because we're always growing and challenging ourselves and we want to always be
Well, and as
perfect.
professionals, we're not gonna. I mean, there are people out there who fry hair off the head, but if you're not frying it off the head, half the time the client doesn't even know you screwed up. It's us
Yeah.
that are panicking and it's like, oh shit, we screwed up, and they can see it on our face. You got to have that game face.
The game face. And actually this boot camp that's coming up on Thursday, the theme is corrective color remix. And I have just enough little tricks in there in boot camp that people will come away immediately in the boot camp with usable things behind the chair for those oh crap moments where the client's laying back and they're looking at our face. You know what I mean?
Oh
They're
yeah,
looking to us
definitely.
because they're terrified. And if we're like, with the eyes over them and looking at each other and doing this and making faces, like, we have to keep the game face on, and having the tools that I'm going to share in this boot camp that are so simple to use that the client will never know the difference between this corrective tool and a deep conditioning treatment or another step of their hair. They're looking to you for that confidence and that calm in the situation of,
Right,
oh,
right.
this is fine, this is normal.
Yep. As long as you have that confidence with the game face of, I can fix this. Let's go get into the toolbox. Let's get this out. They think it's a hair mask. You can tell them, hey, I'm going to throw this extra step on your hair. It's going to make it really soft and shiny, and go about your business. They don't know. And half the time
Exactly.
they'll pay extra for it.
Yeah, I did a class recently in Hawaii, which was such a treat. That's the furthest I've ever gone to have a class, and it was in person, which I loved again. And we did a swatching exercise, which if you follow me, you know I am always talking about the importance of swatching. And Johnny is a star student. He has swatches all over his salon. He has dowel heads all over his salon. It's, he practices what he preaches. So we did swatches, and I wanted to show the people in the class just how blue and just how cool the ABN series is in Shades EQ. And we put it over, very pale blonde, which you would never do unless you filled the hair. It would be ridiculous to do. So we did it on purpose. And the looks on the people's faces in the class, they looked at me like, why would you even show us that? Like, why would you even do that ever? And I said, because I don't ever want you to reach for that thinking that that's a good idea. I want you to see how bad it is. And then I said, but watch this. And I pulled out the color wheel and I showed them why I was doing what I was doing, what I was using. And in 4 to 5 minutes, it was completely balanced and beautiful.
Right. And see, and that's a big thing that I've learned going through and being in for so long, is that you have to know what you're putting on the head. Because if you're doing a color correction and you're taking out red and you go put an ash on and don't realize that it's a blue base, you're going to end up with some purple.
Yep.
So you have to know what you have in the toolbox, not just, ooh, it's an ash. No, what's in that ash? Is it a blue base, green base, or you can end up with more trouble. And that's what this class has done for me, was take my time. What do I have and what's in it?
Yeah, definitely. And remembering, the big key that I always reiterate, I'm sick of hearing myself say, is something that most people don't realize, is that half of your formula, 50% of your formula already lies on the hair.
Exactly.
We keep looking at what's in the bottle. We keep mixing all these potions and different mixtures, thinking we're concocting something, but we're forgetting that the other half of that formula is coming from the hair. If I put color on my hair and the same color on your hair, we're not going to get the same result. So it's, the underlying pigment, it's porosity, it's texture. It's someone just wrote me an email and they said, I finally tried your formula because I love your color, meaning me. And she said, but it's so dark. And I was like, you probably have like 25% gray. I have 55% gray. So yes, my formula is going to be darker on you.
Right. And I have learned, like, to get the prettiest caramel color is take somebody to the grossest, yuckiest orange. There's your 50%, throw on a 7N, and you have a gorgeous caramel color.
Yep.
So it's stopping and listening to what you say. And yes, 50% of your color is already on the head. Use what you got. Don't make it harder.
So we went from strangers at a event at Sylvia's house to us working side by side in your salon, to you being the only person in the entire state of Florida that I will let color my hair. What does that feel like? What were you thinking the first time?
Honestly,
talk about pressure, right?
I didn't see it as pressure. I'm like, what? If she is going to trust me to do this, she sees something in me that I don't see. So it has to be there. And I'm just going to go with what I know and trust in what I have learned. And now it's like, okay,
here comes the pain in the butt.
We just chit chat and go about the business, and there is no pressure. You're the easiest. You're just like, well, sometimes, because you're like, wait, is there something on there? We got to get that.
Is there one piece of the glaze down here where it's not belonging?
But you're so down to earth, and you're not that. I don't want to say you don't get starstruck, because you do, because it's you, but you're just us. And I think it's not until you actually meet you that you are one of us, whether you are the teacher, you're the guru, but you're still one of us. And you take that pressure off of us of, we have to perform for you.
Oh, you're making me cry. Someone, when you were doing my hair and we jumped on live, people were like, oh no, Johnny, you poor thing. Are you okay? Like, you're doing Elaine's hair. What are you doing? Oh my gosh. Like, people were like, oh my gosh, you have to do her hair. And I will tell you, and I'm not saying this just because you're now my friend and I want to, bullshit you. What my experience has been since I've been in Florida. Like,
Right.
It got to the point where I was flying back to my salon in Pennsylvania to have Alicia do my hair or my friend Ray do my hair, the people that did my hair before, because I was like, I can't go on camera as the color expert and tell people, join my membership. I teach color. I'm a great colorist. They're going to look at my color and they're judging me as a teacher and a colorist, even though I don't do my own color. It would
Right.
never enter their mind that I'm not doing it. And I hate doing it. I've done it in a pinch, as you know, and you yell at me because I'm like, oh, I was in the bathroom and I just did some balayage pieces, but they're never right. They're never light enough. I don't have the patience to let them process. I'm always wanting to jump in the shower and rush the process, even though I know better. But that's my proudest moment, that I can actually have someone who was in the group and has gone through the program, and that I can actually, for the first time since 2019, sit in someone's chair and have complete trust and not be such a damn control freak trying to, micromanage every minute.
And it is an honor. And I think about back to when I first started doing it. You would watch in the mirror and you would this. And now you come in, you sit in the chair and you're like this. You're one of those clients, you know. So I know that the trust is there now. And
Absolutely.
it does. And it's an honor. And it feels good that I have that.
Well, I wish I could do more for you. You don't have enough hair for me to play with your hair, but
Right.
I do enjoy our time together. When I do have a model, I look forward to it because you never make, I'm sure there's days that you're like, oh my God, stop talking. You never stop talking and you're used to your
No,
quiet and
never.
your haven, but you always make my model feel comfortable. You always make me feel comfortable. And I totally get why you have worked by yourself, because that was the trajectory that I went down. I was like, I started by myself. I grew to, like, I think at one point I had 17 people working with me in 1,200 square feet. And I was just like, oh my gosh, I can't wait
That's
to go back to being by myself. It was just way too much. But I get it, at the stage you are in your career, your clients absolutely love you. They, are so excited when they come in and they see you and I talking and they're like, what are you guys doing? They love
right,
hearing
right.
about what you're doing. And that's the beauty of our industry when we get to that point with our clients, that they just completely trust us. You're like, oh, she'll do anything I want her to do. And that's the goal. I've seen this trend lately in our industry of stylists feeling like they have to over share with their client the how. The client doesn't need to know the how. They need to know
No.
what they're having done and how much it is. That's it. How
And
much and
I'm
what.
like, sit
No
down,
how.
shut up, and enjoy the ride. Let's go.
Exactly. That's
Because what
awesome.
my techniques are, yes, they'll show YouTubes, there's Instagram, there's TikToks, but you know what? The person doing it makes it what it is. So, like, the technique I use, you can't use it on everybody. You look at TikTok and it's foliage on everybody. It's tease and put it in foil, tease and put it in foil, and that doesn't work for everybody. The balayage doesn't work for everybody. And you get
Exactly.
these young stylists out there who are like, oh, I'm going to do this on everybody.
And shame on me. The mistake that I made that we talked about earlier was that I went and paid to be a student at a class that was demo only. So it was, again, just like going on Instagram or just watching and not doing. I have to do something to really get it in my head. I can't just watch. So I thought, 36 years experience doesn't look that difficult. I'm going to try it. I tried, of course, on a girl with butt length, one length hair, totally already blonde, like the perfect storm of mistakes, and never tried it on a doll head first. So the lesson there is, no matter how long you've been doing hair, no matter how confident you are, no matter how fearless you are, a new technique is a new technique and it needs to be perfected. And I should have known, because the girl that taught me the technique, when I was there, she had two doll heads over in the corner. And I said, oh, what's going on over there? And she said, I'm trying something new and I won't ever use it or teach it until I've done it 3 times on a doll.
No,
So that's
exactly.
where I went wrong, was like, oh, this is easy. It's just, a little different than what I would normally do. But no, it was not.
And that's the bullshit balayage. I practiced that probably 4 or 5 times before I got confident enough to do it on a real head. Just because you never know what is going to come up.
What things are going
Is
to
the
come
clay
up.
lightener going to lighten enough?
Right. So what would you tell someone that is hearing about this boot camp and is hesitating to join?
I would say jump in heads first. It's you won't regret it in the end. You will come out with your brain will grow this big because I'm still going through. I go back and I look. Oh yeah, there's this, and right now I'm doing the social media one with Stephanie.
Awesome.
You will always go back and you will always find something more out of each video. I've done 3 boot camps and I find something out of every single one that I can bring back to the salon the next day. And I'll
That's
be there for
awesome.
this one.
Well, thank you, my friend. Thank you for jumping on here so spontaneously. I love
Oh,
you.
no problem. Thanks
And
for having me.
I'm sure I'll be seeing you soon. I have a bunch of stuff that I have to bring back to you that you so generously brought to the retreat. So I will
Okay.
be coming to see you.
All right.
Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for listening. And if you're looking to join the boot camp, check it out on my website, expertcolorsolutions.com. There's also a link in my bio on Instagram, which is also Expert Color Solutions. I hope to see you all on Thursday. And I know I'll be seeing you, Johnny. So take
You
care.
will. Bye.
See you soon.